Alright, so first thing we want to do here before we add the red blocks is to change the name of the place. So I'm going to call this one complex obby. I called the original one simple obby. And so to change it, we'll hit the three dots, go to configure this place, and we could change it right here to complex obby. Say save. And we should be good to go, right? So there's complex obby. And now that we're here, what we're going to do is add the red blocks. So we go to model, part, block, and then I'm going to scale this block. Yeah, okay, so I'm trying to remember what the blocks look like. Yeah, I believe there was a red block here that was blocking the player's path to the other side. So it goes like that. And then I'm also going to make these blocks as thin as possible, right? So maybe not as thin as possible, but like that, okay? Kind of thinner. And then if I come over to here, then I could stretch it to there, okay? And then of course I'm going to make it red, and I'm also going to give it a neon color so it's kind of glowing. And there we go, okay? So if you remember, what I did is have the same block. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and duplicate it, and then I'm going to move it right over to here, but I'm going to slide it this way so that he can't get across to the other side. Okay. And then finally what I'm going to do is add my little ladder section, right? And so for this I suggest that you unclick collisions, right up here, unclick collisions, and you add another part. So I'm going to add a block, or maybe I can just duplicate this guy. So I duplicated him. I'm going to scale him and make him a little piece of a ladder. And then I'm going to move him into the right location. So it looks something like that. And of course I don't want it, like when you're building the game, these small little errors that you see, right, like you can't even really notice them. You see how this block is not touching that block, and this block over here on this side looks like it's touching the other block, but if I go ahead and zoom in, you can see that it's not. And so these little errors, they're almost unnoticeable when you're building, but when you're playing, it's obvious. It's like, wow, this is not built like correctly, right? So you want to be sure to zoom in and just double check your work, make sure it's it looks good. So let me pull this out a bit there, and I'm going to pull this one out a bit there, and then I want to make sure that this joint right here is right at the edge. So I'm going to go to move, and I'm going to move it this way, okay? So again, you want to make it as perfect as possible, because when you're in game, these small little errors, they glare out at you, right? And so now that we have that part of the ladder going, then I can go ahead and click it, say Command D with of course collision unselected, and then I could just move it over, right? And then move it over, move it over, move it over. And the effect that I used was big spaces first, and then it slowly becomes smaller, smaller, and smaller until they get to this edge here, right? And then yeah, so I'll go ahead and leave you to do that, and then we'll pick up where we left off.